Good morning. I'm Lori Moreland, and I'm on staff at Heights Church, and I'm also a leader in the junior high ministry. Can you imagine if you went to a job interview and you led with your weakness? You said, "Oh, by the way, I want you to know there's some things that I'm really bad at. For example, I'm not good at filing, or I'm really bad at leading a group." I just don't think that would be something that we would do, and I don't think it would be wise either. We're the kind of culture that believes in independence. We believe in individualism. We're a pull yourself up by your bootstraps kind of people. We believe in strength. Leading with weakness is not something that we would do. And the people of Corinth were similar to us. They really admired strength. As a matter of fact, they admired strength so much that they had a bit of a conflict with the Apostle Paul. They looked at him as being a weak speaker. He wasn't very wealthy. He worked hard to earn a living, and he didn't ask for any money from the Corinthians. But they were enamored with this group of people that Paul called the super apostles, who came in and they were great speakers and they were flashy and they were wealthy. And they asked the Corinthians to pay them a lot of money to hear them speak. And Paul said, "Dude, what are you doing? You're losing sight of what's important." You know, today we're going to talk about how when we're weak, God is strong. He's our strength. And we don't have to worry about being weak or appearing weak, because when God sees our weaknesses, it's at that time that he can really work through us the best. It reminds me of a time in my life when I was going through a personal struggle. I felt really weak. I felt like I had failed. I felt like my life was crushing down upon me and everything was falling apart. And it was in that moment, when I was in my deepest weakness, that I was able to call out to God. And through him, I was able to find strength. And I was able to find a new relationship with him. And I was able to reroute what seemed like a spiral downwards. And I started to have this spiral upwards, looking into the eyes of God. Now, in 2 Corinthians, Paul talks about how God uses his weakness to make the focus be on God, who is his strength. He says, "My grace," this is what Jesus told Paul, "my grace is all you need. My power works best in weakness. So now," Paul says, "I'm glad to boast about my weakness, so that the power of Christ can work through me. That's why I take pleasure in my weakness and in the insults, hardship, persecutions, and troubles that I suffer for Christ." Now get this, he says, "For when I am weak, then I am strong." For when I am weak, then I am strong, because in my weakness, I can allow God to work through me. So I want to encourage you that if you're feeling weak right now, celebrate it, because that is when God can use you. That is when we become vulnerable to what God has in store for us. And through our weakness, he shines through. So if you're struggling, stop, take a moment, and pray about it. Ask God to guide you. Ask him to be glorified. Ask him to shine through you so that you can take your weakness and reflect on the goodness of God. Guys, I hope you have a fantastic day, and I hope that you can feel the Spirit of God running through you this morning.